reason being that whichever direction you go in, you're going to be able to use problem-based learning to make you competitive in whichever field. So I graduated in 2008, and I participated in a lot of the resources which your fellow students have discussed. And I've taken those classes and those experiences, and I now work in a role that functions as a macroeconomic think tank, trying to forecast how economies around the world will expand or contract in the future. And really, it's the same process. You might be wondering, well, how's he doing that with a biomedical engineering degree? But it's like, are we going into a phase of inflation or deflation? What are the metrics that we can use to measure this, which are valid? And then how can we put together a recommendation to forecast where these economies are heading? So I'm really interested in taking PBL and trying to apply it towards you realizing your potential and helping you get to where you want to go faster. And how we're going to do that is through a tool which a senior design class and I are developing. And that tool is called WorkReady. This tool streamlines the process of helping you figure out where you want to go, connecting you with alumni who have been there, and then helping you land that first internship or job, internship or research position, which are required nowadays if you want to have a job. So the problem statement, which this website focuses on, is what career will I enter when I graduate tech? And once I've identified 2 or 3 career paths, how over the next 4 years will I make the most of my time on campus? What are the resources? What are the clubs? What are the classes? What are the internships? Who are the alumni which I can or should engage to become competitive by the time I graduate? The value added for freshmen, that's not coming through, but it's all right. Actually, while I go through the tools within the site, for those of you who have a laptop, can you please turn it on, get it started if it's not already? So the value added for freshmen is that this tool is going to allow you to quickly see where have biomed grads gone, what are the paths that they went down, and what made them competitive.
Oh, this is recording.
And then you're going to figure out, well, I like this field, no, I don't like that. And once you pick some that you like, create a vision for yourself of the process you could go through so that you will be competitive by the time you graduate. So if you would, please go to WorkReadyGrad.com. And we'll go through the tools together. But before we do that, I want to acknowledge the seniors who have been working tirelessly, especially this last week, at getting this tool ready for you. So would you please stand, Alex Martin, David Dudley, Nathan Griffin, and everyone giving a round of applause.
Yeah, this kid's famous.
So let's take a minute and
oh, look at that website.
get you all up and running. Yeah. So the first thing you want to do, if you think about, it was mentioned earlier we didn't have a heat transfer class. There was a heat transfer class when I was here. But really it's all about systems. What are the inputs and what are the outputs? You are the input. The question is, what are you going to do while you're at tech to get you to where you want to be? Now, the reality is that being intelligent at tech, it doesn't protect you from being procrastinated. So the majority of your classmates are going to wait until their junior or senior year for that eureka moment of what am I going to do with the rest of my life? The unfortunate truth is that those people are going to be left in the dust by those of you who are proactively figuring out who am I, what's important to me, and then what am I going to do. So hopefully you'll be leaving them in the dust. The way you'll do that is by identifying where you want to be. So if you can log in, I guess first just click on Students. Insert your information.
How are you supposed to know where you go to sign up?
It's asked that in order to submit, you have to include a profile photo. Please do that, or you can just use a generic photo for now. You can put your own profile later. And I'm going to show you an example profile, a portfolio that we put together. before I go through what you can do on this, so how this works, the overall system is that you're going to identify where you want to be. You're going to see a list of recommendations. So the idea is that based on your goals, we're going to tell you all those resources which are most relevant. And then you're going to keep track of the concrete, quantitative things you've done to help you mature along this process. And employers can view what you've done through your digital resume and hopefully reach out to you with an open internship or job before you've even heard of the company. So this is transforming or disrupting the traditional hiring process. What's exciting is that although at last year's Bioscience Career Fair, there were about 8 employers and you would walk from table to table with your resume, by uploading your profile in this WorkReady database, from this one act, you're going to be getting exposure just in this pilot to over 20 to 30 employers. So instead of walking table to table, they're going to see you right away. And the exciting thing here is that probably some of your upperclassmen can attest to it. When a company has a position and there are 1,000 applicants coming in trying to fill that role, one easy way they can cut down the number is by a keyword search. And although that effectively, really quickly lowers the number, they're losing a lot of great talent. So we want to provide a way for you to not be kicked out of their pools because you didn't have that right word in your resume. We want a more intelligent way for employers to be able to see holistically, who are you, what have you done, and how can you contribute to their company, or to grad school or professional school, whatever path they may be. So just to go over the portfolio, you'll enter in, at least to the best of your ability, right now, your objective, which is the top line. The fields you're interested in, and what you'd like to do when following these paths, just like you would on a regular resume. Also, by a show of hands, how many of you already have a working resume that you're putting together? Very good. Secondly, you can keep track of academically how well you're doing, and tell employers whether or not you're looking for internships and when you'll be graduating. So what's unique about this profile in particular is the WorkReady points. So instead of searching by keyword, there are 6 categories which employers have told us they're interested in. They want to know, definitely, if you want to go to grad school, well, have you done research? How thorough was your experience? What was unique about what you did? If you want to work in industry, show us the leaders. Show us those who have internships, multiple internships under their belt. It's so important that you'll read, if you're interested in business or entrepreneurship, as I am. So just to give you a little more background on myself, for all of you who are interested in these 4 paths, I was interested in all of them as a freshman. And so I started out volunteering at Emory in the ER. I've done research with stem cells in the Timanoff lab. And over time, I started participating in a number of business plan competitions here at Tech and over at MIT. And through these collective experiences, you figure out what really motivates you and what could get you out of bed in the morning. And once you can identify that, you can really hit that hard. And so the sooner you do that, the more of a compelling applicant you'll be later on. So let's look at so in addition to these experiences which you can document, you can also include class projects such as BMed 1300 or senior design or 2300. And what's unique about this or important is that a lot of employers are going to ask you, well, tell me about what you did or tell me about this project on your resume. And this is going to help you keep track of what were the big challenges you faced and how did you overcome it. So that's perfect fodder for an interview question. Another component is just list skills you've developed. Can you speak Mandarin? Do you know C++? Do you know how to work a jigsaw? Whatever that may be. And then at the bottom, we're going to provide some more information in a bit. Keep in mind, this is definitely a work in progress, so we're looking for all the feedback you have on how to improve it. But it's going to be a personal statement video where you answer one interview question and a short YouTube video, which is what is a large problem you faced and how did you overcome it? And then you talk about what experience you're looking for in your future internship or job. And this helps employers in the matching process. So now as you fill this out, you're going to also be able to access these other tools at the top of the page. And I'd recommend starting with the career path. So a lot of you raised your hands for grad school, so I'll start there. And what I have is, looking back, I've spoken on a few young alumni panels. From my experience, here are some, effectively I want this to be a top 10 list of things you need to do if you want to enter grad school. Number one is having that solid research experience, and number two, keeping your grades up. But the idea is that quickly you can see, all right, well, I've identified this path. Am I doing these things? And where can I get support?
Let me jump in here because I saw a speaking club in there. Just because you have actually been offered a provisional place at the top grad schools in the country, there's a process where you're invited to campus and you have to spend a weekend there and you have to interview, you have to interact with people that whole weekend. And if your communication skills are not good, if you are not good at representing yourself verbally, you could lose your place. And believe me, I've seen that happen with our students. They've been invited to Stanford, they've been invited somewhere, and then they didn't get an offer. So I can't pound into your heads enough how important it is that you develop your communication skills. Because at the end of the day, when you're being vetted by the top graduate schools in the country and you go there and you're looking at your feed and you can't communicate with people, they're not going to want you. They just won't want you.
Right, to add to that, it's not enough to be brilliant. We know you are. If you can't communicate your brilliance, you may as well not apply. Because, you want to add to that?
They mentioned speaking club a couple of times, but just about any club, if you get a leadership position in it, you're going to have to speak in front of the club, and employers know that. Or for me, I'm a Georgia Tech tour guide, and I've been a tour guide since my freshman year, and I'm somebody who in junior high school had to give a 2-minute presentation in front of the class and fainted. Because I was never good at public speaking. But I got involved in the tour guides, and now I can speak in front of all you guys, no problem. So just get involved in something, get leadership position in it, and you're going to increase your
Right, don't just join a club, but actually take a leadership role.
Yeah.
So even on the portfolio, you will not get a leadership point for just being in a club. You need to have an officer position. And I know we're short on time, so I'm going to wrap this up. But you can start asking some of the important questions about, what excites you about this major, what have been the major influences affecting where you want to go. There's what's called the water cooler tab, which is the social media aspect of this website, where you can post interesting articles you found related to your professional or academic interests. You can see what you post, your friends have posted. You can see what, and then the last component, among a few others, is the alumni story database. So we've got about 17 alumni profiles in here where they're answering 2 questions. The first question of which is, what do you do day to day in your field? We want to help you all separate the reality of the field from your preconceptions. And the second question they ask is, what process did they go through to gain employment in these fields? And what separated them from other applicants? And of all the alumni who have given me their stories, they all say they left their email address for you to contact them with other questions. So feel free to do so. Now, I see y'all are wrapping up already, and I'll wrap up this. Anyhow, this is a great tool. It's going to help you focus on where you're going and help you focus on documenting all the things that you've already done and all the things that you will do in the future to help you reach your goal sooner. So I encourage you to check out the tools here, and if you would, please go to the home page and fill out the survey at the end, which will help us make the tool even better for summer pilot. Thank you very much.
Yay.